Ball. There you see the Sixers in their traveling red uniforms. The Doctor, number 6. Cheeks is number 10. There's Dawkins, number 53. And the Spurs are still huddled around Bob Bass over there for some final instructions before they come out and rip roaring, ready to go. We are in Texas, Bill Russell.
Yeah, I was just looking at Tex Critter over there a minute ago.
We got to get that hat off of Brent.
I got to have that before we leave here. Keenan will jump center. He's a sky man. Watch him rebound. And as Bill Russell pointed out, it's those subtle things that the Spurs have to do today. Not just put the ball in the basket. We know what Gervin can do. But they got to play some defense. They got to rebound and work as a unit. And the 76ers with the second best record in the NBA, chasing the Boston Celtics. Dawkins and Hollins playing catch, and Lionel from the corner.
Does his job.
Great match away from the ball right now is Hollins with Gervin keeping a hand on him with contact and watching Bill Russell. You must always keep an eye on George Gervin without the ball, correct? Because he'll go and try to find a screen and a pick.
Well, you take a scorer like George Gervin, has to be able to move with and without the ball. And he's good at both because over his years, he's managed to get the shots that he's wanted, when he wanted and where he wanted them.
Now, you didn't see any white jerseys underneath the glass. They conceded the defensive rebound that time to the 76ers. That man had the rebound, and the Doctor had the missed shot. Short. The battle, and it's White. Keenan's off. Keenan zips it to Oberding.
How about that? 2 big men on the fast break. Doug Collins back. Been playing a little over 20 minutes a game, and he can penetrate.
Keenan now goes to Oberding in the corner. And what a pass that was. Right to the Doctor, who was kind of tipped as he came in, and Julius applies pressure at the offensive end, draws the foul. That's Hot Rod Hundley's favorite forward.
There he is. That's a great move, and that's his game. The broken field, he's wide open. Watch the pirouetting move, spin to the left, go by Oberding, underhand layup with the right hand, and he got shoved from behind for the foul. He'll look for the three-point play at the line.
Draw the maximum. Get the foul when you shoot those layups. Make the layup and then come up to that free throw line and calmly put it in. His best average ever in the NBA since coming over from the ABA, Hot Rod.
28.6. He's been having a great year.
A much better idea.
Gerald has so much gold around his neck, he has to hustle to keep his head up when he goes for those layups.
Now, remember, it was 9-8. The Spurs haven't scored, and now the 76ers lead at 15-9. So they've reeled off 7. And finally, Gervin from the corner, averaging 33 points an outing. Silas on the bad pass underneath, and the Doctor tracks it down. Julius, Dawkins, and Caldwell Jones. Shoemate still lurking right there in the middle. Back to Dawkins.
That was a great feed. That's a tough shot, Brent, because he had to look back for the ball, and while in the air, turn quickly back and look at the basket.
Nice.
One thing about Gervin, he's more productive when he plays less minutes. Now, they've been in more or less of a pressure situation, losing 7 straight. They played him more than they wanted to, and when he plays 40 minutes, his shooting percentage drops. Obviously, he gets tired.
76ers are turning the ball over and getting a little sloppy down here.
Well, they always surprised when
Dawkins came back to
plays defense.
Awesome.
But he'll be called for the foul strictly because he came down with that sweeping motion. It'll look like a foul, but it looked like he got the ball.
This, of course, is Daryl Dawkins. I thought they were going to show me that last play. Oh, here's Keenan looking for Gervin. Gervin now checks over to the right. Double team. Bobby Jones had checked in, and Hollins quickly raises his hand. Now, here's one of those players, number 24, Bill Russell. Bobby Jones. How would you describe the kind of game that he brings off the bench for Billy Cunningham?
Well, he plays a great game coming off the bench because he doesn't require a lot of shots, so he doesn't have to come in and worry about shooting and making it the first minute before he gets warmed up. He's a good defensive player. He's a great leaper. And what he does is he rebounds for him. He takes the easy shots, high percentage shots, and he makes them a faster team in running.
You think maybe he gives up the shot too many times, however? Too unselfish? Is that possible?
Well, that's possible, but a guy, in order to shoot, has to have confidence. And if he doesn't have a confidence in the shot, his percentage suffers so much that he maybe shouldn't take the shot that he doesn't have confidence in it.
That's a 3-second violation. Giving you now the quick shooting stats. Spurs 6 of 15. Philly 9 of 15. We're 22-19. Philadelphia 2:37 in the first period.
Another dimension Bobby Jones gets Philadelphia, Brent, is that he's a team player. He's coachable, likable, and gives you that 100% when he's on that floor.
Stanley's open. You got a good touch. You got to go with him outside.
The big fella can fill it up.
Yes,
you leave
sir.
him alone.
There's one other thing about Bobby Jones. He's tough as nails.
That's right. He's a player.
Philadelphia has a much faster team than San Antonio at this point. Are they going to be able to take advantage of it? We don't know yet, but their floor speed is so much greater right now. With Bobby Jones, Julius Erving, and Daryl Dawkins, they can all run.
We're going to get that foul to Julius Erving. He's really unhappy. As Gervin made the move right to left in the lane, he complains to referee Joe Crawford. But Gervin is so big, when you let him post down low like that, get close to the basket, he can put the ball on the floor. Got a lot of moves, and he spun it up underhand style to get the foul.
You know what Julius Erving said to the referee, don't you? Have I got a prescription for you?
I sure did.
5 points now for the Iceman, averaging those 33.
And it won't make you feel better either.
Gervin will make him feel better.
Doug Collins has checked in for the first time. Number 20 in the backcourt with Cheeks. Lyle Hollins out.
He has a great crossover dribble, Doug Collins. I mean, with speed, and you'll see him use it in this game, I'm sure.
Jones moved it to Doc, who was coming up on Griffin, and there was a whistle inside on the pass that went down.
The one thing about the old Griff, he plays an average of 6 minutes a game, or 6 minutes without a shot, between shots. And there's very few people that will do that.
The Knicks won a big one over Detroit, 110-104 last night. I think Bob Bass is going to try the slower guys, hoping for the size. Dawkins got it to Cheeks, who got it off before he traveled. Run down by Bobby Jones. This is what San Antonio is trying to do, is get an occasional rebound in this game. The doctor's open.
Good movement without the ball.
Notice how nice he put that ball back with reverse, right off the glass.
Because San Antonio plays its own defense, you can overload it very easily if you make 3 or 4 good passes.
Turnover by the Spurs.
Put the ball on the floor, and then that gave San Antonio a time to get back in there, and the clock expired.
Gervin trying to get free for the shot. He got inside of Collins, and tie it up at the end of the first period. Doug Collins went with him into the backcourt, and the Iceman simply broke open, and nobody saw him coming. He took the pass. Here it is. He busted free of Dougie, got inside of Dawkins, and were tied after 1 period in San Antonio. San Antonio Spurs had won back-to-back Central Division titles, and now they are struggling at 33-36. They are 9.5 games behind Atlanta and due next year to head into the Midwest Division with Houston and the expansion team in Dallas. Meanwhile, Chicago and Milwaukee will cross over to the Central Division, and they'll have rivalries in Atlanta, Indiana, Cleveland, and Detroit. That was the realignment announced this week. Gale now brings it up. It's a foul. It goes over. Bill Russell, when you were standing next to George Gervin, you were having a conversation. What struck you about the Iceman putting him?
Well, he's almost as tall as I am. And I figured either I was a small center or he's a big guard. Anyway, you figure there's something wrong with one of us.
There he is against Bibby out there. Collins trying to use that screen by Dawkins. Gale goes with him, and Doug's found a spot as Bibby. Bob Bass, general manager and the head coach, who replaced Doug Moe.
He looks like Phil Donahue.
Yes, he does.
I know some nights he wish he could conduct an interview instead of putting him up with this stuff.
Irving with that underhand layup.
Well, he picked. Eyes got as big as light bulbs when he saw Julius make that move.
A good friend and a fine basketball man, Jack McMahon, an assistant coach with Philadelphia, is recovering after suffering a heart attack. And I know the Hot Rod and Bill Russell joined me in sending along our best to Jack.
We both played against Jack when he's with the St. Louis Hawks. Great guy. And George Karl, the assistant coach of San Antonio, wanted to especially say hello. A very good friend. And he says, Jack, get well. I miss you out on the road. I need somebody to pick up my dinner tabs.
Both of them, of course, are scouts for San Antonio and Philadelphia. And there's a ton of talent coming into the league this year. That All-American squad will be joining the NBA. The early oop to the doctor who got in behind. The word is that Aguirre of DePaul will probably elect to become a professional next year, along with King at Maryland. We're going to get Macy out of Kentucky. Sampson of Virginia's thinking about it. We got Brooks from LaSalle, McHale from Minnesota. They go inside to Wally Peck. So all the teams should get a good player in the first round as we check some of the other action today. Together, Ballard has given him a bit of a lift this year, hasn't he, Hot Rod?
He sure has, and so has Super Giant. He's been scoring some points for him. They picked him up.
There's the doctor underneath.
He got a million moves. Shoot the ball up his hip, over his head, from his shoulder, and from the locker room if he has to.
Shoemake now keeping Dawkins outside and going to the jumper.
You know, the trouble that San Antonio has is not so much point production. A lot of people think when you put a team together or they're in a slump that they have trouble scoring. That's not the trouble. The trouble is team defense. And you have continual lapses in your team defense, and this is where they get in trouble. They'll score a lot of points, but they'll also give up more than they usually do. I would say in that slump where they lost 7 straight, they probably scored just as many points as they've always scored, but they've given up much more defensively.
Short and Gale is off. 43-35. Philly on the lead. Keenan had it stolen. He threw it right to Bobby. Doug is back, and the doctor, and he's hit.
Oh, he got one.
Keenan really whacked him.
I believe he'll be all right. That was a good thought on the pass by Doug Collins. Very unselfish. But
Now, the gentleman who's going to call the instructions out on our truck to change these scores from one to the other is Sandy Grossman. And I want to pass along our best wishes to Faith and Sandy. They are celebrating their 17th wedding anniversary far away from each other today. Faith is back home in New Jersey. Sandy doing his usual excellent job here in the truck in San Antonio. And congratulations to Faith for putting up with Sandy for 17 years.
there you go.
And she's so lucky to have him out of town today, too.
That's right. That's what all wives say. Get out every weekend. That's some freedom. Irving at the line. And let's see what the doctor's got. He's got 10 and 13 with the third free throw that he's made. Has affected their firepower. We've got 5:33 to go in the first half. There's the doc inside.
That's a good set play. They ran Caldwell Jones to the left. Irving circled off the screen and got the pass, cutting right to the basket for the layup.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill Russell, the Spurs are really going to have to regroup, or they're not even going to make the playoffs this year with this brand of basketball.
Well, first of all, they're playing against a good team that's playing fairly well. Because both these teams have excellent incentives to play. Philadelphia is still trying to catch Boston. And they figure that if they win all the rest of their games, they got a chance. But they can't let up. They've got to keep the pressure on Boston.
So we've got a timeout. 4:33 left in the first half in San Antonio. 53-41.
There you go.
There's one of many down here that we've seen. Shoemate switches over. There's Collins. He was all alone.
Well, they're using a lot of collapsing zone, the Spurs, and it's really collapsing. So they're getting pretty good shots.
Looks like a sieve.
Here it comes. Go make it.
That they can catch him, not because of what his club will do, but because he doesn't think anybody can beat Boston to give them the help that they need. They're 3 back in that loss column.
Keenan, after holding Bobby Jones' jersey, after that tough loss in the Boston Garden, regrouped here in San Antonio. Ice for the 3. 3 points for the Spurs.
And Murray's cheeks got kicked in the cheek.
Winding it down. Not quite synced up between the shot clock and the game clock. Julius on a spinner.
They got time for a shot. 8 seconds.
Irvin's in the right. They go the other side. Silas, now he finds ice. 3-pointer up. Not there. So we've come to the end of the first half in San Antonio with the Philadelphia 76ers behind Billy Cunningham, who are stalking the Boston Celtics. They lead the San Antonio Spurs, who are trying to snap that 7-game losing streak, 65-52. Court we go to Hot Rod Hundley and the doctor, Julius Irving.
What a year. You've been just sensational this season. Your point average since you came into the NBA. Do you feel that this is your best year?
Yeah, I think so. Since I've been in the NBA, I have a lot more freedom in this team as opposed to the other teams we've had in Philadelphia. And I guess I'm shooting the ball well.
How about Boston? Are you guys going to catch them?
Well, it's a long shot right now. We're down 3 games, but, you know, all we can think about doing is keep beating every team that we play against and hope that they lose.
All right. Good luck, big fella.
All right. Thanks, Rod.
All right. Julius Survey. Let's go back to Brett.
All right. Thank you, Hot Rod. You know, the 76ers have won their last 4 regular season games in San Antonio, but Billy C. would dearly love to have back one playoff game of a year ago when the 76ers were eliminated by the Spurs from the Eastern Conference semifinals, and I believe it was a 4-point loss that he suffered down here in that game. And now, look at what a difference a year has brought us. The 76ers with the second best record in the NBA. So we're underway in the third period. Let's set the scene for you with a lineup. Silas, Shoemate, Oberding, Gervin, Silas with the miss, and Keenan with the ball on the floor now for the Spurs. And their interim coach, Bob Bass. He will not stay on as head coach. He hopes to have found one before the playoffs so that coach-to-be can watch this team. But the way they're going, they're not even going to make the playoffs.
Do you know why he's not going to coach next year?
No.
He wants to grow old slowly.
Hollins from the corner. And Julius fouled as he came back up with the offensive rebound.
Made a good yo-yo move there. He exposed the ball and brought it back in and got the defensive man to commit himself, as only Julius Erving can do. You can look at it again. Watch him fake, go up, see how he held the ball, put it out and then threw it back, then got the foul as he put the shot up.
Now,
Rod, could you repeat that without moving your hands, please?
One of the things that the 24-second clock does for the professional game is that in a situation like this, where you get one team obviously playing much better, the one that's behind can still make it interesting, particularly when you got a shooter like George Gervin, because they can run a streak. Philadelphia can't sit on the lead. If they're at all complacent starting this quarter, they could indeed have trouble, and we could still wind up with a contest, even though all of you who've been watching know that the 76ers have simply dominated this game.
You get the ball down that low, you're going to score, and Shoemate was helpless to the effort of Dawkins.
Gervin from behind, he's a little off the mark. He was to the right with that shot. One squared up too good. Quickly now to the doctor, dumps it inside, and so the 76ers come back and hit him with a 4-spot. A timeout in San Antonio.
There's the block by Caldwell Jones a moment ago. Watch Oberding go inside to Shoemate, lean in, put it up and in.
Next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the Magic Man and the Lakers try to outshine the sun.
You say you saw it on CBS Sports.
We'll start our expanded coverage an hour later next week at 2 p.m. New York time, because Wilfred Benitez is going to take on Johnny Turner in a 10-round welterweight bout. That will start an hour before the NBA action. Phoenix, Los Angeles, the main game, but 2 other critical contests. Kansas City, Milwaukee, and the New York Knicks against Washington, and we will cover all 3 next Sunday on CBS. Now, there it is. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Caldwell Jones to Hollins, who tosses it up quickly and hits it. It's good. Score.
One thing you don't have to worry about, we were talking about away from the air, Brent, that when they've got 2 seconds, they'll get a shot away, and Hollins perfect with it out front.
Jones comes out. So too did Dawkins. Perimeter passing, and it was Hollins who went underneath and missed twice, coming back up, and the third one's the charm.
That's the way to pad your rebounding average. You got 2 rebounds in a basket.
Well, he tried it twice left-handed. That didn't work, so he did it finally right-handed.
Keenan was going to come around Shoemate.
Shoemate got in his way there. He had to turn around to the left for a jump shot.
Ice sends it to Oberding. 77-66. And the Knicks leading Atlanta by a point.
He's trouble down low. They call him the doctor.
Keenan's in the middle. Sends it over to Oberding and back to the ice. That's 15.
Yeah, Gervin that time leaned in on the shot. He should have gone straight up because he had Hollins posted right where he wanted him, but when he leaned in, it threw the shot off.
The ice seems to feel it now and came inside. Offensive foul goes against ice.
That's got to hurt. Daryl Dawkins moved right in his path. Again, moving good on the defense. Here it is, right there. Down went Dawkins. Turned that shoulder. They gave him that the left shoulder as Gervin went to the basket.
You know, interesting play was after they were both down, Dawkins got up and he helped Gerving up, and he almost made him airborne.
Just launch him right out of the arena with a jerk of that big right arm. Look at that massive pick he's trying to set over there. Then get it back on the roll underneath.
That would have been interesting if he'd have got that ball back, because he was going to turn to his right and slam that one.
Dawkins' offensive rebound. Off to the side. Cheeks was inside. And Oberding had a hand on him. No foul, and the Spurs will come back to the attack. And here it is. Keenan up over Caldwell Jones.
They got it. Watch this. Here's Irving. There's Bobby Jones sandwiched in between two players. Then, boom, down he goes for the foul.
You see, the Spurs still had 2 fouls to give, and now they've given both of them, so they had an advantage in that category, too, as Hollins hits one and suddenly goes to 81-72. Gervin comes inside.
Oh! But they thought he was going to shoot the ball, and he just reached in and dunked it.
Bill Russell's favorite cry, defense.
Oh, I've been pretty offensive in my day.
Collins goes to Bobby Jones.
How come none of you big guys are good free throw shooters?
Taken away now. Back. It goes to Bobby Jones, coming right down the middle. And quickly the lead goes to 12 at 1:16 left in the third period. Maybe the 76ers were just toying with them, and then they kind of tightened back up again. Stolen by the doctor, and here it goes again.
Watch out.
So we are back, and we check the scoreboard. Seattle continues to struggle against Kansas City, 86-67. Washington trailing Boston, and the Bullets have roared back into that game. And the Knicks have fallen back to the Atlanta Hawks. Here in San Antonio, Daryl Dawkins scores the first field goal of the final period. So it is 96-82.
Already the first half. And he does not normally take three-point shots.
They call him Mr. Dawkins, and that was a little chocolate thunder.
Keenan gambling. Julius wanted to send it back to Dawkins. Hollins will run it down and goes to the corner, and Bobby Jones, who maneuvers with the left hand. Banded coverage. Here the Spurs are trying to regroup, dig in, get a run going against the talented 76ers. Can't seem to put it together. Keenan tracks it down. Julius Erving scored 20 so far in the game, and now Keenan. Mike Evans out there with Peck and Gervin, Keenan and Griffin. Ice again.
He just stands out there and plucks him right in.
Gervin tried to turn the corner and put it up there. Goaltending. Look good, though, big fella. It was fun.
They had to go out in the parking lot to get the ball back after that block. Watch this. Slap it down, Big Daryl. Whap.
Yep, they're starting his on the way down.
They got too many players can put that silencer on you. Every time they cut it in, a jump shot brings it right back to Philadelphia.
Jones went up with Gervin and apparently fouled him. Bobby incredulous about that call.
He's got to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive forward in basketball. And he knows how to move his body, but this time called for the foul as he leaned in. As Gervin made that move, twisting and squirming, going to the basket.
I'd just like to be Gervin's shirt maker. I think that's much of a sleeve length. How long is that, Bill?
Not very long. As we say back in Louisiana, just long enough.
Touch his knees without bending down. What's got to be frustrating, Brent, is when Gervin scores over 40, which he has done 16 times this year, and San Antonio's won only 7 of those 16.
Yeah, out of Philadelphia. Bill, you had an interesting statistic yesterday about scoring champions, and I couldn't believe it. And NBA championships.
In the history of the NBA, as far as I know,
Collins rolled up a miss. What was that now, Bill?
the scoring champion's never been on a championship team.
And there's the man who's gunning for his 3rd straight scoring title.
Now, San Antonio has about a minute and a half or 2 minutes at most to get back within 10 points.
They won't do it that way. Collins will put it right up on him. Here the 76ers are coming back from that tough loss to Boston on Friday night, and they have simply dominated this game. Gervin with the rebound, put it back up, and Bill Russell, is there time left now for the Spurs to regroup?
They still have about a minute and a half that they'll stretch it to get within 10 or less. If not, then they start to really press, and it's too late. So they still have a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes.
Irving sent it back, and there's that quick release that Hot Rod Hundley's been talking about.
Doug Collins, boy, has he played well today. That's
Irving
offense.
dishes it back, and it's an offensive foul, so it's going to go over.
Use that left arm.
Our stats man has been working away about that scoring champion, and he found Kareem back with Milwaukee.
Aha. Mr. Russell.
That he thinks.
Did he say he thinks or he knows?
I think he knows. I think he knows, but he's being real nice.
Oh, is that right?
And he says, George Mikan.
Minneapolis Lakers.
Yes, he did it. So we found a couple.
Twice.
The exception proves your rule, though, Bill. I want you to know that we think you're right on with that statistic, though.
And let him go one-on-one. Here's Collins throwing it up there. Julius inside and bumped by Griffin for the foul. And they're over the limit, so it's a penalty situation for Julius Irving. He said at halftime, Brent, he said, I'm playing better than I've ever played since I came into the NBA. Even though his scoring average is still below what it was in the ABA.
So it's stat time in San Antonio.
Look at Henry.
That's it. Let's throw up some bombs now. Bashed away by Collins, and here comes Richardson, and Mix will muscle in and miss it. Gervin says, let's go to work. Evans. Keenan.
There's a good move by Gervin. He screened Caldwell Jones away, and that left Keenan wide open. Couldn't get to him defensively. He's going after him.
Oh, nice move by Mike. He spun around Dougie. Get to the 31, and he does. .126 and ticking down.
Okay, let's move it. 10, go away.
Cunningham still driving him on, isn't he? Mix high off the glass. Here we go.
That was a three-point jump shot for the old Mixer.
130 to 112 at 112. Mike Evans on the drive.
Fatten your batting average right here.
And San Antonio losing here today is going to fall to 33 and 37. They will have lost 8 games in a row. They were 4 games up on 500 and stalking Atlanta when they fell into this losing streak and fell completely out of it. And now they're in danger of not even being in the playoffs if they don't regroup. The New York Knicks, on the other hand, they came into today's game against Atlanta at 35 and 35. They could improve on that.
Well, we have 4 seconds left here. Philadelphia, I think, safely has this one put away.
Yes, I would think so.
That's it.
134 to 118. Philadelphia dominates San Antonio. The Spurs now in reverse have lost 8 in a row.